What's up, YouTube? I'm here to do my prediction video for UFC Fight Night Blaydes versus Volkanovski. Let's start at the bottom. The first fight is Austin Hubbard versus Max. I can't say his last name. To me, Max looks like he's a really good wrestler, submission guy, but I think Austin Hubbard's, his last fight was against like this silver medalist in wrestling, and that guy was having a hard time taking Austin down and controlling him. He started gas, and Austin took over in the third. And even though I think Max is a really good like wrestler submission guy, I just don't think he's going to be able to just continuously pin Hubbard to the ground and get the submission. I think Hubbard's just going to be too good at getting back to his feet. I think Hubbard's got a big advantage on the feet, and I think once it's there, he's going to eventually wear down Max and win by TKO probably in the second. So I got Austin Hubbard. Next is Roxanne Modafferi versus Lauren Murphy, and to me, Lauren Murphy's biggest weakness is that she gets taken down a lot. She's a great striker, but she ends up on her back like all the time. I just think anywhere on the ground, Roxanne's got a big advantage. On the feet, Lauren's obviously got the advantage, but I think Roxy can hang with her. And like I said, I just think the biggest thing is I think Roxy can probably get this fight to the ground whenever she wants, and I think if she's on top, she's just going to be able to control it. I don't think Roxy will be able to finish Lauren, but I do think she'll be able to win all 3 rounds pretty clearly, and so I got Roxy winning a 30-27 decision. Next is Matt Frivola versus Frank Camacho, and this is one of those things where it either ends early with Frank winning by finish, or it goes the full 3 and Matt wins rounds 2 and 3. I feel like it can kind of go either way. Both these guys are just okay in my opinion. I feel like with Matt, he gets hit a lot. His striking defense isn't great. It's just his ability to recover is really good. As for Frank Camacho, it's like he has good wrestling, striking, and jiu-jitsu, but he just gasses really bad. To me, I think, like I said, this one can go either way, but I'm just leaning towards Frank. I prefer I think he is the more skilled fighter. It's just getting that first round finish. I think if he gets that first round finish, like I said, he should win this fight. If he can only hurt him and not finish him, he's probably going to lose rounds 2 and 3. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Frank. I think he's going to get the first round finish. Next is Courtney Casey versus Gillian Robertson, and this is kind of like the same thing with Roxy and Lauren. I think Casey's a really good fighter. She's definitely the better striker, but she gets taken down a lot, and I think that if this fight's on the ground, I give the big advantage to Gillian, especially if she's on top. I think that, like I said, if it's striking, I would go with Courtney, but if it goes to the ground, which I think it will, I'm leaning towards Gillian, and that's what I see happening. I think Gillian's going to get the takedown early, get on top, and just ground and pound, and maybe get a submission either in the first or second round. So I'm leaning towards Gillian Robinson getting a finish in either the first or second round. Next is Marc-Andre versus Oscar. I can't say his last name. To me, overall, Oscar's probably a little bit better in terms of his overall game, but I just feel like his biggest weakness is he gasses, and he's hittable. I think Mark's biggest strength is his striking, obviously, and his takedown defense and ability to get back up. I think Mark's only weakness is that he kind of gets pinned against the fence a lot, and he loses rounds like that, and to me, I don't think Oscar has the condition to continuously do that. I think that the first round will be competitive. The second, we're going to see Oscar slow down, and I think Mark is going to eventually get either a late second or early third finish. I just think his better conditioning and the fact that Oscar won't be able to take him down and hold him down. If Oscar could get him down and legitimately be on top of him, he could submit him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Mark defends most of the takedowns, loses probably the first round and a half or so, but then starts to pick up the pace and probably gets a, like I said, late second, early third finish, so I'm going with Mark. Next is Tisha Torres versus Bjorn Van Buren. I don't know how to say this chick's name. To me, they're both just decent striker chicks with overall okay grappling. To me, it's really tough to tell who's going to win this one, just because Tisha Torres should win this fight easily, but she's lost her last 4. I honestly think this could go either way. I think it's just whoever's having a better night, but I'm leaning towards Tisha. I just think she's a more accomplished fighter, unless she's completely done. If she's completely done, she's going to get her ass kicked, but if she's still anywhere near decent, I think she's just a little bit better everywhere, and she just edges out all 3 rounds. Next is Clay Guida versus Bobby Green, and this is really just striker versus grappler. On the feet, Guida, he can throw a little bit, but Bobby's definitely got the huge advantage there, and vice versa. On the ground, I think Guida's the much stronger wrestler and grappler. It's all just going to come down to, I think conditioning and, if Bobby catches Guida or if Guida can just wear Bobby out. To me, it's really tough just because both these guys have been really up and down recently, but Bobby Green's been more down than Guida, which is why I'm slightly leaning towards Guida. I just feel like he's at least winning fights against good people. And I also prefer Guida's conditioning. I just think of the two, he's probably got the edge there. So as long as he doesn't get caught with anything huge, he'll probably be able to win at least 2 of the 3 rounds. Yeah, I think this fight will be competitive. I think every round will be close, but like I said, I think Guida wins 2 of the 3 with his just wrestling. So yeah, I'm going Guida. Next is Jim Miller versus Roosevelt Roberts, and to me, I'm not sold on Roosevelt yet, just because I feel like he's still got that Ben Henderson problem where until I see his takedown defense massively improve, I'm not going to be super on board with him. In his last fight, he obviously wasn't going to get taken down by the Native American dude. I saw the Native American dude had better boxing, but that wasn't true when I saw the fight. In this fight, I think the striking is going to be way closer, and the biggest thing to me is Jim Miller's a much better wrestler. And if Jim Miller's on top of people, he's really good at submitting. Like his top game, rear naked chokes and stuff like that are really good. This is going to be a real test for Roberts, and like I said, if he can stuff Jim Miller's takedowns, then I'll start to believe he's a big prospect, but until I see it, I just won't lean into him. Jim Miller's always got that problem with the Lyme disease where you never know how good he's going to look, but if he looks fine, and if Roberts still hasn't developed his takedown defense, I'm leaning towards Miller to get a first round sub with a rear naked choke. Next is Bell Muhammad versus Lyman Good, and this is basically the Matt Favola versus Frank Camacho fight. I think round 1, Lyman Good's got a huge advantage. I think he's the much better striker and hits way harder, but Bell Muhammad's good at surviving and edging out rounds later. So it's really just, can Lyman Good finish Bell in the first, or is Muhammad going to win the 2 and 3 after surviving the first? It's really tough, but I'm leaning towards Good. I just prefer his striking and power over Muhammad's, pace and wrestling. Like I said, this one's really tough because I feel like that's the 2 ways this fight is probably going to end, with a 29-28 decision for Muhammad and a first round KO for Good. And I'm just leaning to the first round KO for Good. Next is Raquel Pennington versus Marion Renault, and to me, neither of these chicks is super amazing. I think Marion Renault is basically just a kickboxer jiu-jitsu chick. I think Raquel is like a dirty boxer. And I just see Raquel doing what she normally does. She just pushes Marion Renault against the fence and is just able to edge out all 3 rounds. I don't think she's going to give Renault space, and I don't think Raquel's just going to straight up take her down and be on top of her and guard. I think she's just going to continuously get her against the fence, beat her up with dirty boxing, and win all 3 rounds. So I got Raquel winning by decision. Next is Josh Emmett versus Shane Burgos, and Shane is a good volume striker, and he does have power, but I feel like Josh Emmett is just the better wrestler, and I think that he's got a speed advantage. I think that, I think these guys are going to be training big shots, but Shane Burgos' biggest problem is he keeps his hands really low, and I think Josh is going to be able to take advantage of that. I think he swings his punches really fast, and I think we've seen Shane get dropped a couple of times because he keeps his hands so low. He gets hit square in the face like all the time. Like I said, in terms of overall grappling, Josh is the better wrestler. Burgos is probably the better overall jiu-jitsu guy, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think he's going to be on the feet the whole time. And I prefer Josh Emmett's speed. I think that Burgos, like I said, he's going to keep his hands down. I think Josh just needs to land one really good one. And because of that, I'm leaning towards Josh to win by either first or second round KO. Finally, we got Curtis Blaydes versus Alexander Volkov. And to me, this 100% depends on the takedown defense. If Volkanovski can defend the takedowns, I think he's going to be able to win this fight. I think he's the better striker. I think conditioning-wise, these guys are pretty close. It's more or less even. Like I said, it's really just the takedown defense. We're going to find out early. If Volkanovski can't stuff the takedowns, he's probably going to lose a 50-45 decision. If he can, then, like I said, I think he's the better striker. He's the much taller guy, and he's good at using his range, both far away and inside. He's good with the plum and shit like that, and he's good at using his long karate style from the distance. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna find out in the first round. Whatever happens in the first round is probably gonna happen for all 5 rounds until one of these guys finishes each other or just Curtis edges out a decision. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Volkanovski. I say his takedown defense is gonna get better, and I think he will be able to stuff the takedowns. And like I said, I think he's going to get a finish probably in the 3rd or 4th because he's not a one-punch guy. He's like a volume guy. And yeah, I just think that as long as he's able to stuff the takedowns, he should be able to win because I do think he's the better striker. So I'm going with Volkanovski getting a late finish. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe.